fill us in a little bit on about how long you've been here? Just, quick minute, 30-second snapshot on what it's been looking like for you so far here, building team. I know that you guys killing it, FFL Unlimited, and like your logo, by the way. So you catapulting your agents into the space all the time. So, but yeah, if you can just tell a little bit about yourself. Really curious to know how you got started with us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, thanks for having me, man. I've learned a bunch from you. Kimber, congrats on your first week. It took me like 3 months to submit over $5,000 in a week. And it got like stupid. Like there was 1 week, a couple of months in, I submitted like 49.80. It was crazy. So 10 grand your first week is awesome. So I just hit year 3. So I've been here right at 3 years now. Before this, I never sold anything. I knew nothing about insurance. All that I knew was basically how to play a guitar, just decently. So I was a full-time musician. I was like a music director at a church. I played at restaurants. I played at bars, and I was 31, 32 at the time. And we were constantly broke. We never had money to do anything. My wife had just gotten pregnant. And so I had to I needed something different. The trajectory that we were on was never going to change. And so I connected with a dude just by random chance on a golf course who told me about Family First Life. This guy's not with FFL. He just knew a guy that was. And so we got talking. He's like, dude, you should go reach out to this guy. He lives in your town. And so I met Ryan. I went to his office on a Thursday. I was there for maybe 10 minutes. He explained what we do. We call people that want help with insurance. We go see him. We get paid the next day. And so I started, that was on a Thursday. I started class on Monday. I logged in, and then I took my state exam on Wednesday at like 11 a.m. So I knocked it out in 2 days and just kind of went all in from the get-go. And so now we're 3 years in. Not exactly where we want to be quite yet, trying to catch up with you, but it's been awesome. And
absolutely,
literally anybody can do this. I know you said it earlier.
100%. So Kyle, what is your team doing right now?
Last month we did 568,000.
That's solid. Congrats on the EVP, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and you started, this conversation by saying it took you quite a bit of time to get to 10K a week. So let's talk about your personal production. Like how long actually did it take you to get to the 10K a week? If you can walk us through that, and what changed, what actually clicked, and you're like, okay, 10K a week is the norm. And obviously you've had plenty of those since your first one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest changes I made was, my first full year, I wrote about I think it was 320,000, something like that. And the biggest thing I changed to do Hall of Fame last year was I started talking and getting around other people that had also done that. And so I wasn't previously around anyone who had hit Hall of Fame, who was writing, 10, 20 grand in a week. And so what I did was I looked at leaderboards, and anyone that was 10K submit or above, those are the only people that I wanted to talk to. Like not to be rude, but I didn't need to talk to somebody that was writing $5,000 a week. I mean, what are they going to teach me? I've already done that. And so that was probably the biggest change. And it was pretty simple, really, is who I was around, and who I was talking to. It really kind of normalized the $10,000 weeks to where previously that was like a standout week. It's kind of a rarity. But when I was around people that were doing 10 to 20 grand every single week, it just made it normal.
Got it. And when you say being around, can you elaborate on that? What does it mean to be around them?
Yeah. So I was never physically with, I live in a small town in Florida. So what I mean by that is trainings. So like anytime I saw a training that Zach Twardowski was doing, I watched that training, because he had hit Hall of Fame 3 times, and he hit it by like September every year, something crazy. So anytime that he put a training out, I watched that. Same thing with Easton Paddock. with Steve, right? These people that were producing at a high level, anytime I saw their name, I listened up, took notes, and then reaching out to them. Like, I mean, I didn't know any of those guys. I never spoke to them, but I would send them like a message, a private message, and I would just say, "Hey, Zach, I know you're super busy, but I have like 3 questions I would like to ask you. If you had 5 to 10 minutes to spare, I would really appreciate it." So, like, these guys are extremely busy. They're obviously working a lot. That's how they're putting up these numbers. So I wanted to, be respectful of their time, but also ask the questions that I wanted to ask.
Yeah, 100%. And would you say Zach would get back with you all the time?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's the culture here.
That's why he's busy, because he's getting back with everybody. Otherwise, how would he be busy doing what? So it's, this business is about booking appointments, being at the appointments, and basically recruiting and talking to agents. So those 4 things basically. So, but let's talk about your Hall of Fame year, Kyle. So it was 2020, right?
Right. Yeah.
What did you issue pay?
For like 410,000, something like that.
All right. So you were
I think
fighting.
I think I hit it week 51.
That's nice. So, all right. Well, that's a true, you're a fighter. So, right. So you had to fight until the last moment. So, I mean, watching Easton, watching Jake, watching Steve Giordano, you like, okay, these guys can like breathe out in March, It's like, okay, well, already Hall of Fame. So, but I mean, obviously they're pushing themselves over a million. So what they do is amazing. We all learn from them, but can you just walk us through your routine and the schedule of your Hall of Fame year?
Yep. So I made a change in June. So about the end of June last year, I had paid maybe 165,000. So I was way behind pace when it came to Hall of Fame. And that's kind of when I started talking to, other Hall of Fame producers a little more, to where I didn't necessarily set a goal of hitting Hall of Fame until July, really, when I was around other people that were submitting all this business, and they were like, "Dude, you could absolutely hit Hall of Fame. Like, why wouldn't you?" And so that's kind of one of the changes I made. And what I saw is, like, Easton and these guys, they really do just work more than I was working. And I remember for the first 2 years I was here, I would ask, people advice, like, hey, I would ask questions, and a lot of times the answer would be, "We just need to work more." And I'd be like, "Okay, that's great, but I need something that I can work with here. Like, can you give me the golden tip?" Like, "Yeah, you just got to work more." So I just started working more. I went from running 24 appointments a week to running 32 a week. I changed that in July. Because at the end of the day, it's just numbers. Like, I mean, Kimber in her first week is like, we're going to be about the same in the field if we see the same amount of people. And so I started running 32 appointments. So what that looked like is every Monday I started dialing at 8 a.m. The first half of the year, I might have started dialing at 9:30. I might sleep in a little bit, then go to the gym, and then come in. But I made myself every Monday and Thursday that first dial was at 8 a.m. And what I found is that 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the best hour to dial, period. Because these people fill out forms all day long, right? Whether it's for insurance, a free hot tub, a free trip to, the Bahamas, they're filling it all out. So when all those telemarketers call them about their car warranty, those people don't start making their calls to about 9:30. So our clients, people that fill out forms, are trained where their phone doesn't start ringing until about 9:30. So when they get a call at 8, they answer it every time. So I made that change, and then I just made sure that it was 32 appointments. Anything less than that was not acceptable. So on a Monday, if I didn't book, 16 appointments, I've got to go get my kids at 5. Like, I got to dial as soon as I get home, and I got to make sure I have 16. So that's really all that I changed.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and we all ramping up our activity and working harder, not to necessarily work same hard at the same thing. Eventually you can switch your working hard on working something else, like building the team, right? So because that working
Mhm.
hard, getting you this extra 8 appointments a week, getting you more shots, giving you more shots to get better, and then you don't really need to run 32 appointments forever to get to the same result. So it's just temporary, and then you can reallocate that time to build the team, or do whatever else. But as far as this extra 8 appointments, Kyle, it just works like magic, right? So there were extra 8, double your result probably. Is that fair to say?
100%. There's something in having, when you know that you've got 32 people to see for the week, like you're walking into the first 16 of them, and there's no concern about, man, I really need to make a sale. And it really helps you flip that mindset from yourself to thinking about other people. And that goes along to the building side too. But like, the quicker, when we're new, the quicker that we can get to people's driveway and our sole focus is on the family that's on the other side of the door, has nothing to do with us. That's when I started writing 10 grand every single week, because there was nothing that the client saw in me that I'm trying to make money off of you, or I need this sale, I need something from you. It was a complete switch to, when you have 32, that client knows that you want something for them, not from them. And if they don't want it, that's fine, because there's 31 other families I got to see.
Yeah, 100%. And then your cash flow becomes a machine, and it becomes a flamethrower that you don't really even need to worry about it. It gets easier and easier, because like that's when it's truly about the client, when the cash flow is crazy, right? So, but I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure a lot of the people on this call, like having questions, how do I ramp up to that? How do I get to that position where I can obviously where I can obviously, have the situation where I can spend more money on leads, and we have questions coming in here and people texting me as well. So as far as getting to that place of 32 appointments, 16 appointments every 2 days, what adjustments lead wise were necessary, Kyle?
Well, I had to get more leads. So
Okay.
I've never sold insurance to a friend, to a family member. The only insurance I've ever sold is through leads. And so when I look at leads, I know that, like, if I have 100 leads sitting in front of me, there's no possible way that I can't book 30 appointments. It really doesn't matter what kind of lead it is. So I think, and I know in the beginning I was trying to book 20 appointments. You remember when that was the goal? It's like, man, if you book 20, I mean, Wayne remembers, if you book 20 appointments a week, man, you're full time. Now people do that in like a day and a half. But I was trying to buy like 25 Facebook leads to book my 20 appointments. That never worked. So I would overspend on leads. And like when I started, I had no money. I sold a guitar to get my first batch of leads. So I mean, there's things that you can do to generate money to get leads, or talk to your manager, or whatever. But if you're not where you want to be as far as production goes now, I think that is the single thing that is going to change it the most for you. Is if you start spending more on leads, it's gonna make you work harder, right? Because you just invest in yourself. So it's time to go to work, time to wake up early and start at 8, and you're naturally going to book more appointments, and more appointments equals more sales.
That's gold, man. I mean, when you also saying, like, if you really want to, you're gonna find the way. You're either gonna find a way or find an excuse. Like, well, yes, but how do I get more leads? Well, sounds like Kyle loved the guitar more than anything else in the world, and he sold it. Does that sound about accurate, Kyle?
I didn't sell my favorite one, but it wasn't my least favorite one.
You found the way. You found the way.
Found a way. And that's the thing. I don't think anybody on this call woke up one day and was like, you know what? Today, I think I want to become an insurance agent. Like, I mean, I sure didn't. I never thought I was going to be an insurance agent, but what I saw was an opportunity to completely change the future of my family, like for my kids, for my wife, for their kids. And I saw something, I just saw an opportunity. So I think that is for every person on here, whatever that was that made you get into this, like that's got to be on the forefront of everything that you do with FFL. Like there's pictures of them right here that you can't see. Like that's when I start dialing. Do I want to dial through 100 leads? No. Like there was one guy that told me he actually loved dialing. Guy was a class 1 weirdo. All right. He's the only one that's ever said they like dialing. Nobody likes dialing. I don't like dialing. But it's because like these kids, we're going to change. They're going to have opportunities that I never dreamed of having. And so that's why it's worth it to invest in yourself and get leads. That's why it's worth it to sell the guitar, because I knew that in a couple of years I could go buy whatever guitar I wanted.
100%, man. Yeah. No, nobody likes rejection. Nobody likes dialing. So, and just if you don't tell yourself why you need to do that, you're not going to. It's really hard to, right? So keeping it everywhere. I mean, I keep my goals on the screenshots of my phone, you know, both like homepage, when it's locked, when it's unlocked, they're all over the place. You know, they're everywhere. They're reminding me where we going. So, yeah, that's good, man. All right, I'll just switch gears a little bit here and talk about the other side of the opportunity, the one that, you know, everybody that's been around here excited the most. Been around, yeah, obviously you brought up Wayne. I think, like, I heard it from Mike Killamet back in the day, when around the time when Wayne started. Mike Killamet's agency had a weirdo that dialed from the closet. You know, he would go in the closet, lock himself there, and just dial, because he's like, and everybody be asking, what the heck are you doing? And he's like, you know what, I want to create conditions so uncomfortable for myself that I need to get done with dials as soon as possible and not get distracted. So he would go, and there were plenty of desks, but he'd be dialing from the closet. Everybody were like cracking out when I heard that story. I'm like, wow, that's the way. But again, find a way or find an excuse. Anyways, Kyle, again, congrats on the EVP. That's huge. Over 500,000 issued as a team. What is your goal, by the way? You know, to land as a team at the end of this year, December 2021. Where you want to be?
So we want to be at 1 million by September. So if we hit 1 million by September, we should be close to 1.5 by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's when it's like, you know, when you hit 1 million, it's like unstoppable machine. It's hard to stop it. You know, it's, you know, train with some momentum there. All right. So, but how did you start recruiting? Can you kind of fill us on that? You know, did you want to do it? You know, what prompted you to do so? Is it, you know, like what was the thought process behind that?
Yeah, this so the first person I hired was my brother, and this is recorded. All right. So he worked for a different insurance company. He had been in insurance for maybe 3 years. And I was just like, you know, down here at the beach playing guitar, you know. And so I started with FFL. And after a couple months, I was just talking to him and talking to him about the money. And I'm like, man, it's crazy how much you make in insurance. And he's like, wait, you're making how much? And so he was the first person that I hired. He was at a 30% comp and just didn't know, you know? And so he'd been doing that for a couple of years. So that was the first person I hired. And, you know, it was slow. We had turnover. And what we ended up doing is, I think it was 2 years ago. So I live in Florida. He's in Kentucky, where I grew up. So we opened an office in Kentucky, and he was the only agent we had. And we're like, we're going to build this thing. Like, we don't necessarily need an office just for you, but if we're going to hire people, and then we need a home base. So we got that office. And, you know, it was like, we've been at this for a couple of years. we should be at 1 million already. But one of the big things that changed last year was we started using social media. I was doing nothing on social media, like hardly at all. I might post something about FFL once a month or so. And so what I saw was all these groups that were growing and exploding. Those were the people that I always saw on social media. Like those were the groups I saw on Facebook, on Instagram. So I was like, man, I'm just going to go same thing. I'm just gonna go all in with social media, see what we can do here. And I had just let a staff person go that wasn't very good, held on to her privately too long. And so it was just me trying to figure it out. And I was just constantly posting on social media about other people, people on our team that are winning, people on other teams that are winning. And the whole idea was that I wanted my audience or whatever to see people winning at FFL every single day. So we did that and we started to get some traction. I've got 2 staff people now. That's kind of all changed since October. So now we have 2 full-time staff. And social media, it works. So the best example is there's a guy on my team. His name is Tom. So I was born in Illinois, Central Illinois. I lived there until I was about 5. My parents, they were my parents' friends, but this little kid named Tim, all right, who we were in preschool together. That's the last time I ever talked to Tim, was in preschool, right? So his older brother, Tom, is a Facebook friend of mine. I don't think we've ever spoken, but Tom called me 2 months ago and he was like, hey, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I've been watching what you're doing at Family First Life and I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to come work with you. So this was a dude that like I never spoke to. He just watched those posts for like 6 months and he quit his job where he was making $100,000 to come to this. So he's in his first full month right now. So social media, you may, like when you post things, you're not going to get 100 people to like your post. Like if you say, hey, Wayne just made 20 grand this week, there may only be like a couple people that like that, but I promise you that they're watching. And so if you use social media and use it consistently, those people will show up eventually. Not tonight, but eventually they're gonna reach out.
Oh, that's amazing. You just said a lot there. Number one, what I gathered is what prompted to start this is you realized that your brother were at 30% comp and you're probably thinking, wow, how many agents out there at 30, 40, 50% comp that also, like a lot of them also don't have leads. There's some of them do have leads, some of them don't have leads, but we all know here that we have the best lead program available, with so many leads and corporate working so hard to get creative and get more of them. Every single week there's a new lead type, there's more leads, there's it's crazy. I mean, me personally, I started with second chance mortgage leads and I thought that they're like amazing, like they're unbelievably great. Why? Because I used no leads before and was at 50% comp, but that's number one point I've learned just now, that there's so many people that's at 30, 40, 50% comp that we can save. Number two, social media, right? So, and Tom was at 100,000. Do you guys know how many people at 100,000 a year hating their jobs from the bottom of their hearts? Like 100,000, 150,000. I mean, heck, I know people that were making 300,000 to made a jump. I knew people that owned massive businesses that invested in this industry with us. So it's crazy, man. But yeah, they're all watching. Doesn't matter if they like it, like your posts or not, but they're gonna come eventually. So yeah, definitely. I know that you and the whole entire Zach's team, you guys killing it on social media, and that's great. So and thanks for all your tips, Kyle. We do appreciate it. For the sake of being absolutely respectful to your time, we can just start the quick Q&A here. If anybody have any questions, go ahead and mute yourself. Craig always has questions without a doubt, so we'll let him go first, or he's going to jump out of the screen. And
that's why you were at the top of the leaderboard then.
That's right. Go ahead, Craig.
You probably don't remember me. I met you in Kansas City and you imparted some knowledge that I've been using to really up my closing ratio on setting up expectations in the appointment. And I've got quite a few team members here that I've shared that with. But if you got a couple of seconds to kind of share your introduction and how you set up expectations and how you're able to manage so many appointments by getting from one to the next when you find someone who's going to buy versus someone who just isn't.
Yeah. So you got to remember the 2% of people that fill out forms that we see, they drive right past State Farm every single day, every day. So, and then they fill out a form they saw online or got in the mail. So what they are doing is they're asking someone to come in and take control and help them out. So I think it's extremely important the first couple minutes to set the structure of your appointment. So it really all you're doing is telling them what you're about to do, and then you're going to do it. So I don't really build any rapport in the beginning. Like they didn't ask me to come over and compliment their drapes that have been hanging there for 50 years. So like they want insurance. So I asked them from the get-go, hey, so why are you guys looking into life insurance? And they'll tell me, and that's immediate, right? So then I kind of got an idea of their why. And then the way I set it up is I'm like, all right, cool. So Craig, what we're going to do today is we're going to find something that you qualify for, something that fits your budget. And then we're going to send an application in to see if you get approved. Does that make sense? And so they've got to say yes. Once they say yes, at that point, if I've set it up well enough, you'll never get, I want to think about it at the end, because they already agreed you're going to send an application today. If they say no at that point, I've only been in there for like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. If they say no to that point, I'll try and get over that objection. But if I can't, I just pack my crap up and I leave. I'm like, hey, best of luck to you guys. I hope y'all have a great weekend. And I'm out of there, because I've got 10 to 12 people to see. So I'm not going to sit there for an hour begging somebody to buy insurance when they told me after 90 seconds that they're never buying insurance from me. So does that answer your question?
That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's really helped me to, ramp up the amount of appointments that I make and have time to make them all, because you got that first couple minutes, so you can either write an app or out the door. I love it.
Yep.
Great question, Craig. We got more? Kimber?
What was the best piece of advice that you got when you started in this industry?
Get a separate bank account. I got that from Mike Killamet. I was like, because I asked that exact same question. I said, hey, what is the number one thing you would suggest that I do to really take this thing to the next level? He goes, get a different bank account. I was like, no, I mean something like it's going to help me sell insurance. He's like, yes, get a separate bank account. The reason is once all your deposits go into a business account, that's when you really start to treat this like a true business. Before, it was going into our family account, and it's amazing how quickly it would disappear. We'd be back at zero on dial day.
Yeah, I see that. Absolutely. Thank you.
That's the biggest piece of advice. No problem.
Good stuff, Kyle. We got more questions here. We gotta have more questions here, because
I have a question. Now I had read somewhere that one person, a new person, I don't know if it was you or not, but they had spent like $300 on leads 3 times, like 3 weeks in a row, and didn't make a sale until the 3rd time. So how would you handle that? Because it sounds like, it could be discouraging, like, you know what I'm saying? So he ended up spending like almost $1,000 to make his first sale.
How much did he make in his first sale?
Oh, I don't know.
All right. So our average sale company-wide is about 20.
You know what? Now that you mention it, I think I do remember that he made a lot. I think it was like he made his money back. Like I think it was like $1,000, something like that.
Yeah, so here's how I look at this. I'm sorry, I don't see you on. What's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia?
Yes, I have my camera off.
Okay.
I just got out of the shower a little while ago
No, you're good.
before
All
the
right,
meeting
so-
started.
So this business here is crazy. So Sophia, if you and I opened up a pizza place, all right. So we decided not to open up an insurance agency. We're going to open up a pizza shop. Kyle and Sophia's Pizza Parlor. So before we even open the doors, all right, we've got to buy a building. We've got to buy pizza, tables, chairs, liquor. Oh, we got to buy all that stuff. We're probably in at least 500 grand to open up our business. So then we're going to, hope to God that people come eat some pizza, right? Because we're 500 grand into this. At Family First Life, you can take a guy like you're talking about who invests $900 in leads. And after 3 weeks, he has a profitable business with zero experience. As to where if we went and opened any other business, we went and opened our pizza shop, we probably aren't making money for about 3 years. So that would be the first thing that I would say is you can be profitable here literally like day 1 or 2. And then the other thing is, I don't know how he was working those, but I know that when I first started, my wife said, so I basically got my wife in on this and I told her I'm going to figure this out. So if I had $300 worth of leads, I was resolving every single one of those things because they were counting on me. So I was knocking on doors multiple times, whatever it took. But the biggest thing is you can be profitable here quickly. It's not like any other business out there.
Oh, okay. So I guess, and as he was doing that, he most likely got better at what he was doing, and that was, the learning
Absolutely.
curve. And
So if
then
you run-
finally just clicked. It just clicked.
Yeah, it's just like with anything else. If you run 30 appointments a week, then like there's no way that you can't get better. So that's 120 appointments in a month. If you did anything else in the world 120 times in a month, you're going to see result. Like if I went to the gym and ran 5 miles 120 times in the next month, I'm going to look pretty good. It's just like it's the same thing with appointments. If you see 30 people a week, you're going to get better. You're going to learn how to overcome objections, all that good stuff.
Okay, that's what I thought. It just sounded kind of scary to me just hearing that.
You know what though?
My expectations was different,
A couple weeks ago, I drove 3 hours from my house, left super early, went 0 for 10, drove home, got home at like midnight. But it's not a big deal because of you can't see it, but because of my why. Like I'm doing this to provide a future for my kids. So what do I care about driving all day and going 0 for 10? Because I know that this works because I see it work for Ivan, for Wayne, for Kimber. Like I see this works. So I'm not going to get discouraged about a bad day or about somebody hanging up on me because there's a bigger picture out there.
100%, Kyle. I'll add my 2 cents here. Sophia, what I would do is I would spend, instead of spending $300 every week, I would spend $900 in 1 week. So here's a logic behind it. So if you have only $300, you don't have too many shots at booking appointments. So if you're booking 2 appointments one day, 2 appointments the following day, then you're dialing again and booking 1 appointment, then 3 appointments. It makes a huge difference. And again, there's nothing's easy about it. It's simple, but not easy. So that means there's still a lot of hard work behind it. So you got to dial all day. If I got $900 worth of leads, instead of running 2 appointments in a day, I would run 6 appointments, 4 appointments, and 9 appointments. If I have that kind of setup, it's way less discouraging. Imagine that if you have 2 appointments a day, you're going to go and get no show to the first one, you're going to get porched to the next one. How likely are you going to go back out in the field the next day? Well, you probably will. You have more appointments, right? And then you have another 2. Now, next one, again, it's a reschedule, and the following one is no sale, and that there's not even a real sit because they're like, so they have so many objections right from the get-go. Now you went through 2 days with only 4 appointments. Following that, you have a dial day. How enthusiastic you will be about your dial day the following day? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd be pretty discouraged. I mean, I'd be questioning anything and everything. If you run 6 and 6, there is a sale or 2 in those 12. So and how likely you are to dial the phone, you know, the next day after your 2 run days. I'd be pretty excited. I'd be like, okay, I have experience, I have two sales, I can reinvest money back. You know, everything, success loves speed. You got to go really, really fast with everything. Commit to training and train like crazy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. Most of the people here, Wayne's probably were falling asleep, you know, when he got started with a earbuds falling out of his ears because he was you know, still listening when he was going to bed. I can promise you that. And then same with dials. You have more leads and you have to start from 8 o'clock and dial until you're done. Stack odds in your favor, and you know, that is a way better setup than spending 3, 3, and 3. That person probably had, you know, enough money to spend the whole 900 on the first week and ensure the success. So I hope that helps.
Oh, yeah, I can, starting to understand, because all the leads that you buy, you're gonna dial each one. So you buy $300 worth, is that 300 leads and you're gonna dial each one?
No,
Or- no,
$300.
not necessarily, right? Because they're not $1 each, right?
Right. No, yeah, it depends. But rule of thumb is to start with 100 leads your first week. So, but anyways, any more questions, guys?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Kyle, I have a question. This is Kedlin.
What's up, Kevin?
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So from the building an agency perspective, we obviously deal with different type of people and different type of personalities. So my question is in regards you identifying yourself as a leader and someone that can actually guide them, and plus from them to see you as that, as someone that is actually going to help them and push them. How was it in the beginning, and what was that you actually did for you to become that person that they can actually look to, and to make it happen? Because as you know, not everyone is going to do it the way you do it, but how do you push your team to actually make it happen towards the numbers and everything that we are trying to do in this business?
Yep. All right. So I think that people are motivated by one of 3 things. And there can be some spillover, but I think people are either motivated by money, they're motivated by time, or they're motivated by like helping people. They just like helping people. So I think when you got to learn what motivates each person, you know? So like if your motivation is money, and I'm talking to you about how you can create your own schedule and flexibility, that's not going to do anything for you because you could care less about that. You just want the money. Same thing with someone who just genuinely loves helping people. You see a lot of this when we hire teachers, when we hire paramedics, people that have never really made a bunch of money. They just enjoy helping people. So now they want to come over here and help people. So I'm not necessarily going to talk to them about, hey, let's make 60 grand this month. I'm going to talk to them about how many people do you think we could help this month? So I think that's the first thing, is just getting to know what motivates them and then talking to them that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
All right. No problem.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think we have time for just one quick one. Anybody? Last chance. By the way,
yeah. Yes, Kyle, is that your name?
That is my name.
All right, Kyle, my name is John. My question to you is, when you got started, exactly how many leads did it take to set 16 appointments?
When I first started, I started off 0 for 16, just so you know. So my first 16 appointments, I didn't sell a lick of insurance. I didn't sell a single policy. I'd come home at night. My wife would be like, how was your day? I'd be like, it was fantastic. So I started 0 for 16, but I bet I had, dude, I would buy every lead that I could find. I didn't care if it was a 10-cent lead and it was like 10 years old. I just looked at it as a name and a phone number and someone that at some point put their hand in the air and said, I need some help with insurance. So I would say I probably, instead of looking at the lead, like number of leads, I probably spent 1,500 before I got my first sale. Now of that 1,500, I bet I had like 800 leads. But again, I was terrible in the beginning. So I wanted that many leads to be able to make a mess of it, go clean it up, then make another mess again.
Kyle, did you start
So-
recruiting from the beginning?
No, like an idiot. No, I probably didn't recruit. I hired my brother, and then honestly, we really didn't start putting the hammer down until about last year. We had some warm market people, some people that were selling a decent amount. A year ago, we were only at 100,000, and that was like me, my brother, and a couple people we knew. And so when we started with social media, that's when it really took off. It was probably about a year ago.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Kyle, can't express how appreciative we are of you taking the time out of a busy schedule to give back, to, and share what you know. Means a great deal to us. Congrats on all your success, brother. And, just for all of you guys here, before I'm going to ask Kyle to give us a parting shot, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we don't invite anybody on our agency call that didn't hit Hall of Fame. This year, you haven't seen a single producer that didn't hit the Hall of Fame. Okay, and by the way, we're probably not going to have enough weeks. Not probably, I know for a fact, we're not going to have enough weeks this year to host every single Hall of Fame producer here, which is amazing. So we have ability to pick and choose. So again, we appreciate you, Kyle. But what Kyle was saying today, I hope you were taking notes. If I was you, I'd just be taking it to heart and trusting 100%, because like if someone issued over 400,000 in one given year, and by the way, getting really serious right around June, and we're way behind his goal and made it happen still. Like what else do you need to think about? Why not just, take it to heart and do what he suggested to do today? Like, I hope that makes sense. I'd be having zero questions, after this talk. I'd just go to work and do exactly what he did. Well, unless you don't want to make as much money, but that changes everything. So, but again, today is May 13th. Kyle was way behind his goal to hit Hall of Fame in June last year. He still made it happen. Small tweaks and adjustments. Start at 8 o'clock, load up on leads, and start treating this business like a business. And everybody's doing it around you. So why not you? Ask yourself that question. Why not you? You deserve it. Your families deserve it. So, but I appreciate you all being here, guys, and definitely one of the calls for the repeat. Thank you so much, Kyle. If you just can give us a parting shot and boost us into the remaining of our dial day for the weekend. Is all top producers work weekends, and weekend warrior. Let's hit those numbers. Just buy leads, just dial the phone. It's really that simple. Kyle, appreciate you once again, brother. Thank you. Give us a parting shout, and we're gonna wrap.
Okay. Yeah, thanks again for having me. I would say everybody on this call can hit Hall of Fame, even if you're just starting today. You get this red jacket. There it is right there. So you get this red jacket, that's cool. The biggest part of Hall of Fame is what that extra money allows you to do for your business. So what it allowed for me was it gave me an extra 15 grand a month that I could fork back in. So it's allowed us to basically quadruple over the last year, our business. It's allowed me to hire multiple staff. It's allowed me to, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I got this idea to recruit, do you want to give it a shot? I can always say yes, because we have the cash flow to do it now. So anybody can hit Hall of Fame. The red jacket is cool, but what it's going to allow you to do in your business is where the gold really is. And the last thing I would say is Jacob Bish. I know your camera's off now, but when you first got on and you had that cowboy hat on, I pray to God that you wear that in every appointment, because you will sell so much insurance if you keep that bad boy on in the homes. Nobody will ever cancel your policies. Insurance Cowboy done took care of me.